Hey everybody, how's it going? This is my first video. I'd been talking, or had mentioned that I was wanting to do video, writing stuff on things, on current events, politics, and stuff. So this is my first one, and uh, most currently it's the big topic of the nation is police brutality. And I'm going to discuss that and my thoughts and bring up a few things that have happened. And, I'm only going to speak from my point locally, not nationally, because I'm not there in other parts of the country, just only here locally on what's happening. And the stuff that's happening, it's just uncalled for. And with law enforcement agencies, there's good cops. There's a lot of them, and the majority of them are really good cops and are great people. But there's a few bad ones, and it's the old saying: one bad apple destroys the whole crop. And is what's happening or needed to happen is they need to go through the basket and pull out the bad crop or the bad cops and get rid of them. You know, police officers are to uphold the peace. They're peace officers. They're there to protect us. If there's a problem, they're to come to maintain that peace, to make sure we're protected. You know, I don't really know many people here in Los Angeles County when they see a sheriff's or any cop vehicle, and it doesn't matter if it's a law-abiding citizen or not. When everybody sees one, they freak out because they're not sure if it's a good cop or a bad cop. It's that bad. You know, Los Angeles County Sheriff is known to be one of the most corrupt law enforcement agencies in this nation. And a good example, just 5 years ago, the county sheriff, Lee Baca, was trying to cover up an investigation on police brutality within the sheriff's department, and it backfired. He's now serving a life sentence in prison for doing that. Has it changed in the department? Has anything gotten better? No, it hasn't. You know, it's almost as if, well, the boss got caught. We got a new one. We can still go and do about what we want. And a lot of that stuff's happening throughout the nation, and it's really it's sad to think that law enforcement agencies have gotten to this point where they're covering stuff up. They're brutal to people. You know, what happened to George Floyd in Minneapolis? It's completely uncalled for. Completely. Um, Choking the life out of somebody and not doing anything about it. It's just uncalled for any human being, regardless of what their color is, and regardless of what his background is, what the whole thing. Choking the life out of a human being is uncalled for. It really is. And the police officers in Minneapolis, they did it without even blinking an eye. Here locally, when the protests were going on, a guy was walking on the street, walking towards the protests, heading that direction, and this was on camera because they were coming up to the protest, so it was on camera. The county sheriff pulled up, got out of their patrol cars, and capped 6 bullets into this guy. They didn't question him. They didn't talk to him. They didn't do nothing. They just got out and shot and killed the guy. And the video that was going, the guy that was videotaping it, the county sheriff got in that guy's face, told him to, quit recording this. We're going to confiscate. We're going to do threatening the guy. And the guy's like, you know what I'm saying? And that video disappeared. The news report that was on it was pulled, and it disappeared within 24 hours. It sounds to me like something was being covered up because they did wrong. The guy had a stick. It wasn't a gun. Another thing with corruption here locally, the guy was found hanging just last week. A black man, a young kid. And where he was found hanging, it was right next to City Hall in the city of Palmville. And to explain how this is, picture a city block, and on the west end and the south end, you've got the Chamber of Commerce, City Hall, and the Public Works Department. On the northwest end of the complex, going along the north end, you've got the City Library. And on the east end, you've got the LA County Fire Department. And in the center, you get this big park. And around the park is not streets, but it's parking lot. So they find this guy. Well, the county sheriff does a press conference less than 24 hours after they found the guy. They don't do that kind of stuff. But because he was a black man found hanging, they're like, oh, we better hold a press conference because of what's going on. We got to make it look good. And when it starts out, the deputy or the sergeant, whatever his rank was, that got up, he starts with his whole official report. Yeah, on such and such time we found this, blah blah blah, and he finishes off, we've ruled it out to be suicide by hanging. The coroner has not even finished the report. They hadn't even looked at the guy yet. And county sheriff's already got the case closed. We've already ruled at this and we're closing it. The outcry that came out from it, from the family, the friends, and the community in the area was overwhelming, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation is now involved, making sure that they do their job. And in this complex, because of the nature of the buildings, a question was asked, what does the video surveillance show? And the response back was, we don't have any cameras. It's 2020, and you mean to tell me you don't have any video surveillance around the government buildings in the city? None whatsoever. But now that the FBI is involved, they made a comment, well, we need to look over the video surveillance and see what it shows. Sounds like a little bit of corruption going on there, if you ask me. A little bit of corruption and no accountability. Well, now that there's going to be a little bit because the FBI is involved. So they're got to do all their dot their I's and cross their T's properly to make sure everything's done correct, which they should have done in the first place. The president's gonna wants something to be made up, a law or executive order, whatever, about police accountability. his department's going to write something up. It's going to go to the Democrats. They're going to look at it, rewrite it, fluff it all up like they always do. It's going to go to the Republicans. They're going to fluff it all up. And by the time it goes through all the channels and everything, it's just going to be all fluffed up, and it's going to be a bunch of words that don't make sense. And it's not going to solve the problem. It happens all the time with everything that they do in D.C. They just fluff everything up. They need to quit fluffing things and actually do something that makes sense. Something that actually makes law enforcement agencies accountable for their actions and will help weed out the bad crop in law enforcement. Everybody has their opinions. Everybody has their ideas. I myself have a great idea that would probably be less a page to maybe 2 pages of writing that could be easily put into a law and make them all accountable for their actions. And it's really, 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 really simple. Very transparent and something that could be easily agreed upon. Will anybody listen to what it is? Probably not. If anybody wants to know, I'll tell you. It's really, really simple. So anyway, that's the end of this first video. Our law enforcement agencies really need to be held accountable for their actions. They really, really do. The corruption needs to end for everybody, especially the communities with color. They're people too. They're good people. Really good people. I know a lot of them. I'm friends with a lot of them. And they're amazing people. Amazing. For those of you watching this, like it, share it. I hope this gets around so people can see this. Anyway, thank you very much. And my next video, I'm going to be talking about some other things that's going on in the nation. Thank you.